Oh boy, it's snowing. Just a little bit. Well, it's cold out here, so we're gonna stay inside today. What's up, YouTube? Fire's burning. You guys have probably seen this in the background of some videos from time to time. And the parts have finally come in for it, so I'm gonna show you what it needs and what we're gonna do with it. This is my good buddy Riley's four-wheeler from his childhood, I guess. Teenage years, I don't know, something like that. They've had it in the family since it was new, early 2000 something. The hub is spun out. And it's damaged not only the inside of the hub, but also the outside of the axle. The same thing happened over here, but he's had it welded. But what we're gonna do is we're going to go ahead and pull this off, and we're gonna replace the parts the way it needs to be. Because if we weld this one now, then you're basically gonna have to cut the axle out if you ever have to do, say, brakes, or you ever have to fix anything in the rear end, anything like that. So now's the time to do it right. So we're replacing two brake lines, the one from the pedal and the one from the handle, because they're both shot. While we're in here, we're gonna go ahead and replace some brake pads. We've got a new rear axle and two new hubs. Also, we're huffing some Bob Marley while we're in here. We're gonna start by pulling this axle nut, which I did this a while back, and it was a pain, and I had to heat it with a torch, and impact wouldn't take it off, but my wrench got it off eventually. Because you can see all the damage here. The wheel has been spinning behind that, and basically welding some of the steel onto the nut. The splines on this shaft are basically worn all the way off. But this new axle is going to remedy that. Next up, we're going to remove the brake lines by taking these little nuts off the back so we can release the cable. Long-winded little fella. And then these should just pull right out. Real simple like. There's your barrel. We're going to start by removing the skid plate off the bottom. I'm going to have to remove these two nuts right here, and I'm also going to have to reuse them. I have to salvage them from this for the other one because the other axle didn't come with these nuts. So I guess I'm going to have to cut all the way through this and cut it off. A portaband would be really nice right now. We'll see if this will work here. I wish I had a longer bar, which I'm sure I do actually. But I'm going to put this right here, lock it in between these, because I don't care if those get bent, they're junk. And then I'm going to put this on. See if I can break that loose. And as these come off, I'm going to mark them so I know which order they go in. 1 and 2. So we've got a nut, another nut, a small washer, a large washer, and then you got your seal and your bearing, but they're going to stay in there. We're just going to pull this outer case off. Well, now's the part where we have to cut through the axle. This isn't going to be that fun because it's going to be some really hard steel, and I'm going to have to cut it with an angle grinder, and really hope we make it. Hoping. Cross your fingers. Wow, that cut way better than I ever expected. And what I used was one of these Predator cutoff wheels. These things are fantastic. I think we got it at Fastenal. On the back, you can see this kind of white stuff. It's like it's lubricated. They last way longer, and they cut way better than any other cutoff wheel I've ever used in my life. All right, let's pull this brake cover off. Well, it seems like there's a bearing right here, and the bearing is seized onto the shaft. So, can't beat on this because, you know, it's aluminum. So we're gonna have to try and heat this right here and hope that it'll let go. And we're probably not gonna have enough parts to put all this back together. We'll just have to try and remove it on a bench or something. But this way we can go ahead and slide it out. There we go. Now, obviously, if that wasn't already a ruined axle, the way that I just did that would have ruined the end. It would have mushroomed the threads. You couldn't have reused it. You might have been able to do that with a block of wood, though. If you had a block of wood underneath it and just dropped it on something like that, something that's softer than the steel so it wouldn't mar it and wouldn't mushroom the end. But that was the only way I could get it apart. I have never seen anything like this before. That's where the pad's supposed to sit in that little indentation. And it's not even there. It's like it's non-existent. It didn't wear that edge off. It didn't wear its way down. It's like this stuff just sat there and disintegrated into thin air. It just doesn't even exist. I've torn bikes apart from the 60s, 70s. Never found anything like that before. Now we're going to pull the brake pads out of here. I'll just roll them out. They're a little more fun to put in than they are to take out. We're going to clean all this stuff out. I'm pretty sure we're going to have to replace the bearing here. That doesn't sound good. That's the part we're not going to have to replace today. And just like that, we got the bearing ordered and the seal ordered for that part. And we're going to clean out the inside of this because that's supposed to be smooth, and I don't have any idea what that is other than that it may be, I guess it's the brake that disintegrated. And that's what's all over the inside of there. So we're going to clean that up real nice. I had to remember to go ahead and put this O-ring back on this one from that one. It's still in perfect shape. So there it is. Okay, I'm going to add a liberal amount of grease to this, which is the drive part, because it's shaft driven. That's what turns the axle. And then over here, I'm going to add a little bit because this is where the bearing sits. So it's going to sit through that pipe, and it's going to have grease on this and this, but I don't want it over here because this is what my my little brake hub assembly is going to sit on, and you don't want any grease over there because that's going to make it greasy. Now I'm going to go ahead and reinsert the axle into the shaft. Or the rear end. I guess it's not the shaft. There it is. Shiny new. Well, guys, that basically concludes what I'm able to do today. We're going to have to order some parts. I'm going to spend a little time cleaning out that brake hub assembly, and I guess in about a week we'll probably have parts. We got to have the bearing and seal for the inside of this brake hub assembly here. One spacer that goes right there. Looks like this. That spacer was welded in to the other hub whenever it was welded together, so there's no way we can get that back. So this is going to take like a second, literally a second for you guys, and for me it's going to take a week. I got to wait a week, probably, at least 3 days. Parts. See ya.
Hey, you guys check out part 2, okay?